Hello, my name is Jacob Jones, and welcome to What You've Been Nerding Out On, or WYBNOO. I keep forgetting to set up the reverb on my interface over here, but I like to go WYBNOO with like a bunch of.
Gotta love it.
Today I am joined by Darthdubie, who's really nerding
What
out
up?
on, just read a shirt, Xmen. Fuck yeah. So let's just get straight into your introduction. So I asked this question to everyone to start out every one of these. So I'm going to ask you the same line I've asked everyone so far. Who are you? Where do you come from? And what do you do?
My community knows me as Darthdubie or Mammoth, or they like to make fun of me a whole lot. They'd be calling me Big Back and all this and that. But my name's Drew. I'm from Michigan.
Nice.
Straight up gamer, full on nerd. Oh yeah, yep. From the mitten, born and raised. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Yeah, gamer.
Sweet.
Streamer here and there. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, but hey, doing your thing, streaming, content creating, we're all out there doing
Just
the
trying
hustle,
to do it.
the online
Yes,
content hustle. It's
yes, sir.
But obviously we're on the nerdy side of the internet, and that's where you found yourself right now with Neon Pocket Dimension and this show WYBNOO. It's all about nerding the fuck out on something. We've done several topics, including our season 0. But we've never had Xmen as a topic. This is more of a drilled in, like the episode I just did before this. Although you're watching it now on YouTube, this was several weeks ago for you, where I talked just about anime to my buddy Frankfurter. And let me tell you what, that's a big topic. He's like, after an hour and 45 minutes, he's like, we got to do a part 2. And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah, honestly, I'm telling you right now, Jacob, like, it might come to a part 2 here. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, possibly, yeah. I'm telling you, like, get me talking about Magneto. I can talk about him for about an hour straight, just awesome. About Magneto, you know what I'm saying? But honestly, any type of X-Men combos, I'm all about it, you know? So
yeah, we'll start with this like overall X-Men conversation, right? And then maybe we can get into more specific X-Men shit down the line. But hey, what have you been nerding out on? And when I say that, I mean you say X-Men.
You got it, X-Men, baby. Honestly, like, my wife and I actually just went through the whole X-Men catalog just in December, I want to say.
You talking the movies?
The movies. Sorry, the movies.
No,
and
you're good.
I should let people know as well. I haven't watched the comics, I haven't read a whole lot of the X-Men comics. I grew up with the X-Men TV show, and then like I was at the perfect age where the first X-Men movie came out. My stepdad brought me to take it, and I just fell in love, dude. I was like, whoa, a world of superheroes, you know what I mean? Like that premise right there just gets me like big W, you know what I mean? I mean, even with the anime world that you were just talking about as well, My Hero Academia, I mean, big W there, am I right? Like that type of stuff right there. It's, it's pretty much an anime, X-Men is like straight up anime. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden you unlock your powers and you are, you know what I mean? The world is awesome. The world is awesome. I'm excited to see how they're going to tie it in with the MCU now, but
same.
We're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see on that one.
That is a conversation that we need to make sure to hit upon today.
Absolutely.
A little bit about MCU and stuff. But X-Men in general, like you're explaining it, obviously, with Marvel Comics, DC Comics, usually you have super teams, right? But typically, like, you have a book about a guy. You got your Batman, you got your Superman.
100%.
On Marvel side, you'll have your solo Captain America. You'll have your solo,
Iron Man, your Hulk,
several Spider-Man, concurrent books, So I think that's what made X-Men pretty unique, is that from the onset, it wasn't like a team up. It's like the X-Men as a concept as a book originally was, oh, these are
Yeah.
mutated human beings, right? That have evolved and had superpowers once they reached like an adolescence or whatever, right?
Yep.
Brought
And all
together.
those mutated genes always touch on, you know, hitting on those stereotype stigmas in the culture, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? In the world that is present when those were written or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is like, that's a whole nother reason why I love it too. You know, like it's pretty much a whole like segregation story with Charles and
Yeah.
Eric, you know what I'm saying, to begin with, you know, so
Straight up.
it's, and they're both kind of fighting for their people in totally different ways. You know what I'm saying? It's just a
Mm-hmm.
very it's that chess game. You know what I'm saying? They're both playing chess, but some might have different strategies at taking out, you know, it's I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Like, hits upon the social issues, like you said, and just seeing like two different takes, essentially, like the extremist take, and then the like peaceful, like, well, let's all just learn some shit, like with
Yeah.
Xavier, right?
Yep.
But yeah, so I see behind you, we got a Wolverine back there. That's pretty
Yeah.
great.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, I got a Spidey. I got a Spidey, a Wolverine. Actually all of these come from my cousin, my little cousin.
Oh,
He's
nice.
like I brought him into the nerdum pretty much, you know what I mean? So he just always gets me some kind of like comic book, Funko Pops or something like that. And
Mhm.
I love the Silver Surfer zombie-ified one as well. Gotta love that, especially with Fantastic Four coming out here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And a Lego Darth Vader and all that. But yeah, I'm a nerd. I can nerd out about any nerd topic. I tell you what.
Fuck yeah. I mean, you're in good company. Check out my diecast, uh,
Oh,
Logan.
oh, I
Check that
love
shit
it,
out.
dude.
It's
Oh, I
diecast
love
metal right
that.
here. Yeah.
I love that, dude.
I had a Loot Crate subscription for like, I don't know, a few years, a while back, and this is one of my favorites right here. This motherfucker's heavy.
Love that.
Is that
Love
heavy?
that, dude. I
Heavy.
need to get more. Like I need to start showing off even more of my
Yeah.
nerdum. You know, like I said, I kind of just started hitting that content creation life. You know what I mean? Just hit 100 followers over on Twitch, big W.
Nice.
But like I that's what I was doing over at Cinch. You know, was just like content creation. And when I left, you know, they were just telling me, "Yo, keep up with the content creation. That like you
Yeah.
have a gift for it." I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah. It seems
and
like.
all nerdy stuff I can talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It seems like you got a nice community going on your Discord, even if they're ragging on you all the time. But
Oh
that's
yeah,
part of the
all
fun.
the time. It is. It is. It brings me back to, you know, hanging out in high school with all the homies and ragging on each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a culture of just being able to take it and then give it back. You know what I'm saying? But I tell them all to aim it right at me. Nobody in the chat, everybody aim it all right at me because I can take it.
Like a lightning rod.
Yeah,
You're
I'll
like
take it.
you got the healing factor, like Logan.
Big W. Yeah, yeah. Love it. That
So
lightning round just like Storm, right?
hell yeah, hell yeah. Which, by the way, in Marvel Rivals, they just they are bringing in a new matchup, like team up ability with Jeff the Shark, who has
Storm.
Gobble Up
Yeah.
in the Storm. That looks pretty fucking sweet.
I love it. It's what Jeff NATO. It's like
Jeff NATO, yeah.
a funny Sharknado like thing in there. Oh, I love it. It's so funny.
So hilarious. So
But I hate playing against Jeff the Shark. I hate playing against a good Jeff the Shark. I tell you what, I have a love hate with Marvel Rivals. For real, we got to link up and get some games in because woof, it's out here for you, or it's hard out here for your boy. I tell you
it
what.
can be. I mean, it's good to have a full team and everything, but like,
Yeah.
I typically play support in these games because a lot of people don't, and I can
Yeah.
do it pretty well. So
Same here.
there you go.
Yeah. Same here.
Hell yeah.
I love bouncing around too, though. I love playing tank. Like I
Same,
kind of stopped playing when the thing came into
Same here.
Rivals for a little bit. Yeah,
I haven't
was
been
like,
playing at all lately, but it's still a good
yeah,
game. There's just a lot of games to play.
great game. I can't wait until the roster. I hope it continues to this point, but like the roster's just filled with X-Men characters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
agreed.
you need
We need Gambit.
Nightcrawler, Gambit, like, and we need some healers as well. Like Jean Grey, she should be a healer. You know what I'm saying? And then like maybe have her alt be a Phoenix Force type of, you know what I'm saying?
Like
that
destruction.
actually is a huge DPS. Yeah. We need more healers in that game, dang it.
Yeah. Well, there's a good amount, but I digress. So, as for X-Men, what got you into X-Men?
Oh gosh, I would have to say the cartoons growing up, man. Like, and like I said, like that anime type of feel. That was, I know it's not anime, but that's like my biggest touchstone to why I love animation and love anime and anything like that. Like even Invincible too. Like that's, I think it all comes from bingo, the old school X-Men animated show, man. Like the opening like music too, man. Oh my gosh. Anybody can tell
Iconic.
what it is right off the bat. Exactly. Like I know my mom probably got so sick of it, but I was always going around just you know what I'm saying? Like it's amazing, dude. Like
fucking tight.
Bam, bam, bam. Oh, I love it. And X-Men 97 with their kind of upgraded intro to it, giving all like, all the other heroes like some new like car. Oh, it's amazing.
I don't know
man.
yet.
Oh,
I still
so
haven't
good.
watched it. I still haven't watched 97. So.
Oh, Jacob, you have to. I'll stick away from the spoilers for that.
Yeah, we won't spoil that, but because we're having this conversation, I'm going to start watching it, guaranteed. But I feel like I should go back and watch like all of the old series and then get right into 97 because I think I'd have fun doing that.
I did a little. I did watch pretty much the whole series when I was younger. My grandmother, awesome. She always recorded it for me, actually. So like back in the day, I pretty much lived at my grandparents' house, and my grandma always recorded it for me. But no, like, what was I even getting at now? What was I saying, Jacob? I'm so sorry.
Oh no, we were just talking about the old show and like rewatching the entire old show.
Oh yes, yep. That's where I was at. No, I watched like a recap on the old show, and I, since I pretty much watched the whole, series to begin with, and you could honestly just hop right on into 97.
No, I know that.
You don't have.
I do know that.
Yeah, I mean,
but here's the thing.
But knowing the groundwork is,
Well, here's the thing. I just caught up on One Piece, like. From episode 0 last year, very beginning, all the way through like over like 1,100 episodes, and so it's nice having a show to just throw on and just have play and play and play. And I think that would be perfect for this show.
The old school one would be absolutely perfect for that, for sure.
Yeah, and then once I'm like, once I've wrapped that up, I think watching Xmen 97 will be a treat. Honestly,
it was a treat, man. Like I couldn't believe it. Like they actually brought the feel of it back. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like I was back in my grandparents' living room on a Saturday afternoon watching it again. You know what I mean?
Same.
But then other than the cartoon, X-Men, the OG movie, Xmen 1, oh my gosh. I mean, come on.
Hype.
Come on now.
It's hype.
Like, it's so hype. It's so hype. Like, I think this was episode 2, maybe?
Nice.
Maybe episode 1, but for real, with this moment right here, Jacob, I'm telling you, it's...
Yeah, 10 out of 10 moments.
It's chef's kiss, because it's like a full, like flip on how it was in the OG series.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, what I was saying was other than the cartoon, very much that like what got me into X-Men was the OG movie. Like with Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry and I mean the OGs of Magneto and Charles as well, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it hooked me right away. Right away.
You know what happens? You know what happens when a frog gets electrocuted by lightning? Yeah. Same thing that happens to everything else.
Everything else. Gotta love that line, right? It was cinema to me when I was a kid. Cinema, man. It
It's good.
was amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Amazing.
I like X-Men 2 the most, probably out of any of the X-Men movies. First Class was really good, and I do
Yeah.
enjoy the Wolverine like various films, although Origins is really bad, but it has some fun moments. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah.
like I feel
100%.
like
Yeah.
people hate on X-Men 1 too much cuz I feel like it's
Oh,
still a fun
yeah.
time. Like I enjoy
Oh,
watching
yeah.
it. Yeah. And X-Men 3
100%.
Last Stand, like it was cool getting Beast, although that movie
I
also
still
had
enjoy it.
bad stuff, like annoying
Yeah.
shit. But like the
And
Juggernaut
getting
and like
Dark Phoenix too. I
right,
mean, they fumbled the story,
they
but
did,
getting
yeah.
Dark Phoenix 2 in there was awesome. And then I
Yeah.
remember seeing, Angel in the theaters for the first time, and I was like, "Whoa, a dude with
Yep.
wings!
Hell yeah.
Sign me up for that power right there." Like I was
You'll
like,
be
"That's awesome! I want to fly."
dude, you'd be surprised. A really good icebreaker, and I'll pass this along to you. Um,
Yeah.
just unprompted, walk up to a stranger and just say, "Hey, if you could have a superpower, what would it be?" Dude,
What
nine
would it be?
times out of 10, it's always to fly. Most people
Being
say
able
the
to
same
fly.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or teleport it. Honestly, like you can do
Hmm.
anything with teleporting that you can do with like flying, I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But flying just looks so dang cool, especially
Fuck
flying
yeah.
super fast and so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the middle of a rewatch of Dragon Ball Z right now with my buddy Average Joe, because he's never
Oh,
really
shout out
watched
Average Joe.
everything. Yeah, Average Joe's the homie.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm watching it with him. He's watching the original Z, and I'm watching Kai, which is the abridged Z. It's
Okay.
way better to rewatch it as Kai, not just Z. But I'm just saying, like, motherfuckers flying in that show, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like, let's just fly around.
Exactly. And I mean, that's like the touchstone to anime. You know what I'm saying? Like
Flying
looking
around.
at Jean and Storm flying and all that. Like, when I saw anime for the first time, you know what I mean? I was like, whoa, like this is a normal thing in anime.
Oh
Cool.
yeah,
I'm all about Dragon Ball Z now. You know what I mean?
Dragon Ball Z
Pretty
rules.
much all individual superheroes themselves with all their different move sets and all that.
Yeah,
Like, the Kamehameha blast and all that. Oh, it's amazing.
that's great. Although,
I'm
like,
nerding out over here.
okay, question, since we just talked a little bit about DBZ. Do you think that Cyclops' laser could clash a Kamehameha blast and like burst through it, or do you think a Kamehameha blast is stronger than Cyclops' laser eyes?
Ooh. Ooh, that's a good question.
Like
So
if it was Kid Goku from like original Dragon Ball.
I would think either way, I think so. Cyclops blast is what's it called? Like a kinetic force, right? And I
Okay.
feel like the Goku blast, the Kami blast, is more of like a energy. Not
Correct.
both energy, but like you know what I'm saying? So I feel like
Hmm.
Cyclops blast would kind of go through and would make the Kami blast like
Split in
fly in all
half.
different directions. Yeah, yeah. If that
Interesting.
yeah. Yeah, like
Cool.
almost like a barrier, you know what I'm saying? Like
You hear
yeah.
this? You hear this
That's
fucking fan YouTube animators, like, show us that fight. I want to
Oh,
see
that
it.
would be so sick, right?
Kid
Oh my
Goku.
gosh, who could we get
Yeah.
from the X-Men to like do a blast like that towards Cyclops? Honestly, like who would it be? Maybe I
Who
mean you
knows?
could have like Havoc, or
Oh
you could
yeah.
have well, I guess it comes from the same dimension though as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
True. True.
mm,
I don't know.
I would have to think about that one. I would
Mul-
have to
mul-
think about that one.
Multiverse is too much of a mind fuck. So let's go back to the singular X-Men universe.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, so when it comes to X-Men, like what is something about X-Men you can explain to people that they might not know? I mean, they know that they're mutants. They know that like X-Men is about a school of mutants who are like learning their powers for good, and they're trying to like help the world. And then you also have the the was it the Brotherhood? What are they called again?
Brotherhood,
Yeah,
yeah, the Brotherhood of Mutants, yeah,
yeah,
yep,
where they're
yep.
more like extremists, almost like terrorists, right? Like just mad at humanity because humans suck. We all know it, and from
Yeah.
everything. Um, so there's the two
So
sides to the coin, but like that's what people know. It's like Xavier is head of the school, Magneto's head of the bad guys, but the more extreme mutants, and there's mutants everywhere. But like, what are some deeper topics about X-Men that you could get into right now?
So I would honestly tell them like, look, it is a segregation story. You know what I mean? It is uh splitting, the people as a whole. You know what I mean? Like saying, oh, they're mutated, they look different, they are different than us, but
Right.
they all feel all human emotions still. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's very like it and it's a topic on today's world, and probably will always be. You know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean?
has
Like
always been that
it,
way since the very
yeah,
beginning. Like since the inception of X-Men, that was one of their goals is to kind of like highlight, how people treat each other and like you're saying like segregation or discrimination, that kind of stuff. It's always supposed to mirror that type of issue like with, like racism essentially,
absolutely.
all that, right?
And even that too, not even just racism, but like even like sexism as well
Yeah.
with some mutants. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
good point.
some mutants can turn into a woman, turn into it's like, look at Morph. I might not have an identity as a male or female, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And that hits on very big topics of today's world. And I just feel like if you can write the script properly, yeah, Morph right there, which awesome character in X-Men 97. They
Tight.
kind of gave him a little bit of a boost in his power level in 97, so
Hmm.
look out for that. It's super dope.
Sweet.
But yeah, it's I just feel like if writers and creators over at MCU take note, please to God, if y'all can pull it off and write your asses off. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear or not,
Oh,
but if you
I
can write your, go ahead.
I started the episode by saying fucking, so don't worry about it.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, W. Okay,
This
yeah.
is
So if they
we're
can write their asses off, it's gonna it can pull in those fans that have left the MCU, but also pull in so many new fans. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
there, you got to think about it. Kids, 13, 14, 15 years old now
Mhm.
did not grow up with the X-Men like we did. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? They probably have no touchstone to the X-Men, which like my little cousin, he's 15 turning 16 this summer. If I did not show him X-Men, he would have no clue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's one of those that unites. One of
Yeah.
those IPs that's supposed to make you feel like, oh, we are all human. We are
Right.
all, even though there's something different about me, it doesn't matter how I look, how I act, if I need to wear glasses, Cyclops, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's very for everyone, and that's
Mhm.
why I think I fell in love with it so much.
Same.
And that's what I would tell someone. Like it is that story. I remember telling my wife, she was not into the nerdum before we started dating. Not in the nerdum whatsoever, okay? And I remember telling her like, hey, my absolute favorite is X-Men and my favorite mutant is Magneto by far. Like,
Oh, okay.
oh, coolest
Nice.
mutant by far,
That's
man.
a good pick.
Magneto is the coolest.
He's fucking
It's
awesome.
always been Magneto for me, man. Like
Hell yeah.
being able to move metal, like come on now. Like it's so cool. It's so cool.
Diecast metal.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I mean Wolverine as well. Like, and I love those like interactions between Magneto and Wolverine all
So good.
throughout, even the comic books, the
Mhm.
the cartoons and all
The
that. Oh, I
movies,
love it. Yeah,
everything.
man. It's always Wolverine wants to get Magneto so bad, but Magneto's always like, Oh, you
It ain't
animal, you
shit.
beast. You won't be able to touch me. Like, come on now,
Mm,
Even without your medal, you probably couldn't touch me, brother. Like,
right. Yeah.
and Magneto just has that swagger. He
Yeah.
just got that swagger to him,
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, and I think Fassbender, I mean, Sir Ian McKellen, of course. For sure,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with,
No.
Sir Ian McKellen. But
Come on.
Michael Fassbender as Magneto.
So good.
Oh my goodness,
It's like
man. It
another,
was it was
just another like
amazing.
type of like, man, like horrifying, I guess. Like I'm
Yeah.
searching for a certain word, but essentially
He was
he's
at a different
imposing.
stage.
He's very
Yes. Oh,
imposing.
so imposing as Magneto, man. So imposing.
Whereas with
Except
Ian
for a couple of
McKellen,
those costumes they put him in. A couple of them
hey,
costumes, not the
it was
greatest.
in the past, okay?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
it was. It
That's
was very 60s, 70s feel. Yeah,
that was
yeah,
the swag
yeah.
back then, okay? That was the
True.
hotness
I mean,
back then.
he did rock it. He did rock it. I gotta
Turtleneck?
hand it to
Come
him.
on. Come on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I wouldn't
pretty
have pulled it
nice.
off. I tell you what,
Yeah.
there ain't no way.
I can't. I don't like shit touching my neck, dude. Get that shit off my
Yeah,
neck.
yeah. I'm kind of that way. Like even with like a hoodie too. Like it has to be a big enough hoodie. I got a big neck and a big head. It's got to be a big enough hoodie where it lays back and it's not touching the neck at all. Oh, if you need good options for a big hat, a big head. Mammoth, man. Mammoth.
Okay.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
mammoth.com.
Hell
That's
yeah.
why my chat calls me
Mammoth.
Mammoth.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I'll take a look. I'll
yeah.
take a look. Cause yeah, it's shopping for hats is a challenge.
It's so hard.
I usually have to do
Yep.
it on the very last one if it's a snapback, and if it's a form
And
fitted, fucking nope, it's not gonna
and their
happen.
snapbacks, I'm telling you, their snapbacks are already like 4 big heads. Like I had to wear a
Sweet,
size 8
sweet.
hat. Like
Yeah,
if I
I
want to get
think
a fitted hat, size 8.
I think they
So
sized me at like 7 3/4 or something like that. So
yeah, I
pretty
was
close.
right around there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like when I had my fro, definitely I need
Oh
an
yeah.
8. You know what I mean? I can't fit the fro and the big head in there. But yeah, I'm telling you, like they're like I had to put it on the 3rd snap. And then they even have like extra large sizes as well. So
Oh
they're
shit.
that company, I finally found a place. And I
Sweet.
always gotta let my big head brothers know.
Sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I digress. I'm sorry.
No. No, we're having a great conversation. This show is
Good deal.
about people showing me what they're all about and teaching the people watching about what they're really into. So it's fine. It's
Good deal.
it's fine. We could be ADD and bounce around between topics, but
That's me.
as a guy
That's
who
me.
likes to interview people and host shows and that which I've done in the past, it's always easy to stir back to the topic. Just like
Yeah,
now, guess what?
absolutely.
Guess what time it is now? You're talking about Magneto. It's your favorite X-Men. So I think that
Oh,
it's time
100%.
that we start to just actually talk about the characters, because that's the thing, right? Like X-Men isn't Wolverine. X-Men is X-Men.
100%.
It's a lot of fuckers.
Yep.
There's a lot
Yep.
of fucking
Yeah,
people.
lots of them out
Lots
there.
of
Yep.
powers. All right.
Yep. Thousands, dude. Thousands.
So Morph, that's pretty cool. I didn't really know him. What I find interesting about Morph is that that's sort of the power that what's her name, Mystique has, right? To
Mystique.
change
Yeah.
her
Yep.
form, whereas Morph almost like can just kind of switch genders, right? And like the way that they
So-
look in the face, maybe, right?
I don't know if you want me to give it away for you or not, because they kind of, I guess it's not really even
Is
a
it
story
different?
beat in 97.
Yeah.
So Morph, they kind of established in 97 that I don't know if his pronouns, their pronoun. I'm sorry if
Yeah,
I
we
get
can
it
just
wrong.
say they.
but
I
Morph,
think.
I probably should. Yeah,
Probably.
they can turn into someone else, but then they also get their powers.
Oh,
So there's a
shit.
quick scene. Yeah, there's a quick scene in 97 where he turns into Rogue and is flying around and then turns into Hulk flying down to the ground. So he flies up in the air as Rogue and then Hulk coming down and he has his strength.
That's
now,
tight.
I don't know if it's max strength Hulk or not.
Right.
But but very cool power,
That
in
is
my
cool.
opinion. It's an amazing power.
That is almost like Legion
Mhm.
but like not psychotic.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Right?
Honestly,
But then also not like extra random characters, like they can actually switch to whoever the fuck they want. Whereas
yeah,
Mystique,
complete control over it too. It's wild. Yeah,
that's incredible. Morph sounds awesome and overpowered, and I'm loving it. Whereas Mystique
yeah.
though is Mystique, it's more cosmetic. It's like it's more of like I'm
Yeah,
just going
more
to seem
spy
like the person.
infiltration
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
power. You know
And
what I mean? Like espionage. Let me turn into Striker real quick
yeah,
and infiltrate and mess and find these plans and like
I'm
that's
telling you, man.
you can do so much with X-Men. There are
So much.
people. Some of them that can fly and bust through walls, and there's some of them that can walk through walls, and then there's some of them that
Yeah,
just turn into other people. You know,
yeah.
it's and there's a whole lot of powers that are just completely useless, and I feel so bad for those mutants that just
It
have
it does
those useless
happen.
powers.
It
Oh,
does happen, and
oh.
actually real quick, that reminds me of the Family Guy reference
Oh boy.
where they have like, you know, the different X-Men powers, and they're like
Yeah.
and then Meg has the power to grow her fingernails, and they just kind of like grow out
Yeah.
longer, and she's like scratching people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
And it's
fucking
just like
great.
X2 too. Like
Yeah.
even I remember like, watching X1, the very OG X-Men movie,
Mhm.
seeing Wolverine's claws, on screen for the first time. I was like, whoa, so sick. You know
So
what I
sick.
mean? So sick.
So sick.
And then in X2, what is her name? Lady Deathstrike, right? I think that's her name.
Yeah, I
Comes
think you're
out
right.
with the freaking fingernails, just like Logan, just like Wolverine. Oh my gosh, I always wanted Sabretooth to get it too. I
I
always
know.
wanted Sabretooth to get the adamantium. Like, it would be so cool.
It would be great. I always do like the rivalries in X-Men, specifically obviously Wolverine and Sabretooth, but
Cyclops.
there's
Oh,
always
oh yeah. And Sabretooth, yeah, of course.
a lot of people
I
are
was gonna say
rivals with Wolverine, I guess.
Wolverine and Cyclops. Yeah, like Wolverine's just always trying to steal the girl. It's like, Wolverine, come on now. Let's calm down, brother.
Hey,
Let's calm down.
this fool is just generating tea like all day. You know,
Yeah, that's so true. You can't knock him, right? Short
Yeah.
king over here. You
The
can't
king-
knock him.
literally the king of short kings, Wolverine.
Mhm.
Probably the most badass Canadian that I can think of, essentially.
Oh, true. 100%. Now, okay, Jacob, I want to ask you a question real
Sure,
quick.
absolutely. Shoot.
Would would you like to see a short Wolverine in MCU?
Oh
An
yeah.
actual
Yes.
like 5'3" short Wolverine.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
100%.
5'3", 5'4". I would love that, dude. Like I don't want
Yes.
a 6 foot, 5'3"
There-
right
you-
there.
this-
You know
this
what I
is
mean?
the
And
Marvel
195 pounds.
Yeah.
And 195 pounds.
Yeah.
Like without the adamantium. 300 with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Cut.
give
Cut.
me
Ripped little guy.
ripped, just jacked,
Ripped.
shredded. Yeah.
Incredible.
I honestly, hot take,
Love it.
get my boy Daniel Radcliffe to
Oh
play
my
Wolverine.
god. I would freak out.
Like I'm not kidding,
Big fan.
dude.
Big fan.
Like we gotta stop labeling him as just Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
Oh, no,
like
I-
he is an actor.
To be
Like,
fair,
we do though. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying the mainstream.
you're right. You're right. But I'm just saying, for the most part, like he's been getting projects going lately that have been really funny.
True.
Like there's this show, I think it's on TNT or some shit, where
Yeah, what is that called?
he's
again?
like working for God or something, and then he's an angel, but then
Yeah.
God wants to end the earth, so he's trying not to end the
It's
earth.
not American Gods, is it?
No. I forget the name, and maybe if I remember, I'll put it in the description
Doesn't it
below.
have
But
Steve Buscemi in it too?
it does. But what's cool about
Yeah,
that
Steve
show?
Buscemi.
What's cool about that show is that every season it's like a completely different subject matter, but it uses the same actors. So the second season,
Oh, awesome.
yeah, they're like, instead of like being like God and angels, they're like knights in a town, but then they're speaking like
I didn't know
normal
that.
people.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just a really good show, and Daniel Radcliffe is really funny in it. And then don't forget, he was also in that fucking action movie,
Was it Guns Akimbo?
Guns Akimbo.
Is that
Yeah.
what it was?
Which I started watching. I need to like watch the whole thing.
Movie.
Yeah.
Wild movie.
His English or his like American accent is not good. It would need a lot of work.
It would need a whole lot of work.
But he's really funny.
The
He's
other
really funny
actor
guy.
I think of is I can't think of his name, but he's from Kingsman.
Egerton? Eggsy?
Yes, is it Taron? Yes,
Yeah,
Taron Egerton, dude. I think he would kill it. I think he would kill it as Wolverine, dude.
Yeah, but look at how soft he looks.
Nah, I'm telling you, he can grow that beard. Soft. Give him that beard. You know, maybe darken it just a little bit, like they did with Chris Hemsworth. You know, but
look at that soft smile. He just looks like too nice.
See, you got him smiling. You know what I mean? You got him on the cover of GQ here.
He's got the cardigan on.
Get him in the weight room. Pull up a
picture
of him in the weight room.
You know how about this picture? I mean,
that's soft. That's soft.
I mean, this is a handsome guy.
Handsome man.
It's a handsome man.
He's a handsome man. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that's another short king. But that's what we need for Wolverine.
Right.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all.
Look at that.
I mean, here,
right there.
That's looking tough. It's a tough look, dude. Right here, you're telling me this is not your new Logan.
Thank you.
He's wearing the coat. Come on.
How tall is he? How tall is he as well? He is 5'9". I thought he was a lot shorter.
That's my height. I'm at
No, I see, but like I thought he was a lot shorter, and a lot of actors are around that height, you know. So, but how tall is Hugh Jackman?
I think he's tall as shit, dude.
He's 6 foot. Is he above 6 foot?
I think
so maybe that's why
6'2".
it looks so weird.
6'2".
Wow. Okay,
but that's why he seems so stretched out.
So exactly, dude. I tell you what, you get Taron Egerton. He's got that core that's so much, you know, contained, so much shorter, and he could get himself on that MCU diet and that training regimen, man. And I tell you what, if he gets bulky and he'll just look like just a big stocky, man,
could be good.
Give him the little. Give him the little wisp, the Wolverine wisps in there. I tell you what.
Okay, the only pushback is like, man, these English or people with an accent, these fucking actors, please do better with your English or your American accent, or don't cast them. Don't cast them. Let them just use their own fucking voice. I don't know.
Yep.
But I think
I 100% agree on that one
for sure. But let's talk about let's talk about the characters a little bit, because I just want to there's so many X-Men, we talked about Logan. I mean, Wolverine, dude, iconic. I mean, I don't know if he's my favorite. He's probably my favorite. I also love Deadpool. I also love Nightcrawler.
Wolverine's just way too mainstream. You know what I mean? Like,
he is, but it's for me, it's undeniable. Undeniable badass.
He's so cool.
So fucking cool.
He is of course always going to be in the top tier of my X-Men, but he's just so mainstream. I'm one of those, when something becomes so mainstream, I'm like, like I'm a huge Kendrick fan. Tell you what, when it became mainstream, I'm still a huge K-Dot fan, but it became so mainstream, I'm like, can y'all don't hop onto my wave here.
Dude, it's only gonna get worse your whole life, so you just have to
True.
Let it happen.
So
but
true.
No, I'm like you. I don't know if contrarian is the right way, because it's not like I'm just wanting to be different. It's just that I like to try other things out instead of just every
I think that's what it is.
Just not like just the fucking first thing on a list, and like Like we were talking about rivals, right? Like everyone wants to be DPS, but I'm like, it's cool. I'll heal. I'll tank.
Let's
whatever. Fuck around.
Let's find the fun in that instead of just popping heads. You know what I'm saying? Like let's that's what I like about Overwatch and Marvel Rivals type of gameplay. Yeah, 100%.
So you mix it up. 100%. I mean, obviously, we just talked about Deadpool. Like where I mentioned Deadpool. How do you feel about Deadpool as a X-Man?
Love him.
Okay.
Love Deadpool. But I tell you what, I want Deadpool to only pop in to X-Men movies in the MCU when it's like a quick cameo. You know what I mean? Like he comes in and fucks with them real quick, talks shit to Professor X and calls him wheels or something and then bounces out. Maybe does a quick fight scene and fucks with Wolverine for a little bit,
Right.
calls it good. But he's just like X-Men as a story deserve those not even grounded, but those emotional,
more serious.
Which, don't get me wrong, Deadpool can hit those emotional beats when they want to. Ryan Reynolds, and all that, it can hit that, but X-Men needs that grounded where like. Professor X, if he's having an emotional scene, I don't want Deadpool to pop around the corner and be, get a load of this guy type, breaking the fourth wall type
pulling
stuff.
His ass out, and then smashing through it.
Yep.
I mean, I like Deadpool stories on their own.
Yep.
Like if you're following Deadpool, but yeah, hard to take him seriously, obviously. But what about these guys?
Oh boy, yeah, those are the ones. Those are the ones. You know what I mean? Those are like, and I hope the MCU does this group justice right here.
I agree,
because like in X-Men 1, X-Men 2, X-Men 3, okay, like Last Stand, X2, all of those, the OG movies, they very much made Wolverine the main character.
Absolutely.
Which, like, I tell you what, if you wanted to make anyone the main character, make Professor X and then have it be just a Professor X Magneto. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I know putting an old guy on screen as the absolute main character that we're centering around, that's a principal at a school, might not hit for people. Right. But like this group right here, we need to see a dynamic between all of them. And they all need a dynamic role in that group, Iceman, like, are they going to make him gay? Because I think they need to. You know what I'm saying? My boy Bobby Drake, I think they need to do that in the X-Men movies, dude. Like, that would be awesome. And it gives a whole nother group of movie watchers someone to, look, not even look up to, but, what am I personalized with? Or
it's
representation, them,
representation.
Yeah. And then I mean Beast, looking like an animal but being one of the smartest,
fucking
beings Beast on the planet. You know what I mean? Like,
he's the Donatello.
They need to hit. Yeah, they got to hit on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got to hit that. They got to show his struggle, the beauty and the beast, the duality of man, the beast-like nature, but the intelligence. They got to touch on that,
Yeah, I think that the first class and like the, kind of like the newer run of the younger X-Men that happened before the MCU stuff started to take over, obviously. I feel like they did a pretty good job with everything you're talking about. Like, Professor X is kind of the main character of those stories, although younger. Yeah. And then, Beast himself is represented pretty well as a character.
Very well, yep.
So, and then Scott Summers being like the ipso facto leader.
Days of Future Past. Yeah, I don't know what happened after Days of Future Past.
It was really just those two movies that were good, and then it was like, fuck. Like, Apocalypse felt like popcorn drivel, was unfortunate. Yeah. There was like even fun moments, but like, again, whatever. It could have been better.
Yeah. Yeah. And like going back, like I said, I watched the Days of Future Past again back in December. And that's probably my most watched X-Men movie. So I watched it again, and this time it's so good, but like watching it again, I'm like, there are parts of this movie that really need to be trimmed up or tightened up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I feel like First Class, there was maybe 10 minutes of that movie that could be trimmed and edited a little better to make it an even better movie. But Days of Future Past had about 30 minutes in it where it was like, and then Apocalypse happened, and then
Apocalypse
Dark Phoenix.
Great. Yeah, Dark Phoenix is
worst, wasted Oscar Isaac for X-Men, man.
It's all good.
It's
all in the past.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past.
Past, yeah.
Okay,
Love it.
so I feel like we need to talk about Cyclops for a sec. So like Cyclops in
So
the
cool.
comics, and I think in X-Men 97, in the video games, he was really always like the leader of the team. He's very much like the Captain America of their,
Yeah.
he's to Captain America to fucking the Avengers as
Yeah.
Cyclops is to the X-Men. And I feel like the way Cyclops is portrayed in all the movies, it can work and everything, but again, it's like you're saying, like, they focus a lot on Wolverine for obviously reasons. Obviously, Wolverine is like the reason for the season. He's like the guy, but
Yeah.
Cyclops is very much like the heroic, lawful good, fucking leader, good guy who tactician, does shit by
Yep.
the book, but like makes great decisions, is very capable. Like he's a great character, but I don't think he's got his flowers enough in the films. And I think that's something the
100%.
MCU can like really correct.
James Marsden.
I mean,
Poor
don't get me
guy.
wrong, awesome, love James
They
Marsden.
wrote him so bad, man. They did him
Yeah,
dirty. They did him so dirty.
yeah, he
I
was
feel like
seems
they
so
gave
weak.
in the First Class saga, I feel like they gave that Cyclops. I can't remember that actor's name, but I feel like they gave that Cyclops so much more. But
Yeah,
like if they would have done that treatment in the OG movies, I feel like Cyclops would be looked at totally different, man. Like,
yeah,
I mean, James Marsden is awesome, man. C
he's great.
6'3". That's the big bulking dude we need to play. We
Yeah,
need a 6'3" actor to play Cyclops. That's
yes,
just jacked, and like I
but
tell you what,
has
for a
that same
while,
energy as fucking Chris Evans did, stepping into the
yeah,
role of Captain America. Like we need that
yep.
same energy, and that same like status, to the new
I feel
Cyclops.
like
I think
Cyclops is more of the varsity quarterback, the senior varsity
exactly,
quarterback. You
all
know what I'm saying?
American boy.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what I think Cap is more. He's the I'm gonna go fight for my country, and like apple pie and baseball is all what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's just that little bit of a distinction between the two. And I hope they find an actor that can pull that Chris Evans charm off. Like, you know what I mean? Just that almost that Boy Scout, but also that varsity quarterback where, hey, you're talking to my girlfriend, the head cheerleader of
yeah,
the cheering squad. You talking to my girl, I'm gonna whoop your ass, type of
yeah, yeah,
feel. When I feel like Cap would just be like, oh no, that's my gal.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know she's my gal always,
Right.
type of thing. You know what I mean? Like that. And I hope they can nail that.
Yeah, I agree.
And Jean, you got to nail Jean. I tell you what, they've done her dirty in the past two sagas, past two actresses that played her too.
Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
my
I
goodness.
I like Famke like
Yeah.
in the first two X-Men movies. I feel like
Yep.
she did a good job of like portraying that Jean
Not
Grey
enough
who's still trying
lines
to
though.
like, but I agree. I know. I totally agree with that. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like she did well within her means or with what they
100%.
allowed her to
Yeah.
do in portraying the character. But yeah. And then obviously we got Sophie Turner, which, like no hate to her. It's just they weren't making great movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it is
Yep.
what it is.
Yep.
But Jean Grey as a character, like from the comics, from the cartoons, awesome, great, the powerful
Yeah.
Phoenix,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about her
And
for a sec.
starts out as not the Phoenix. She is that, kind of more soft spoken, like kind of, scared of the world kind of type of feel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they got to play that off too. And if I have, you know, one idea I would have is
Mhm.
the new X-Men movies, the main characters, like we were kind of talking about, should be focused around Cyclops and Jean.
Yeah.
Let me get that dynamic because, the Summers family is very big in X-Men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if we can form a family, and get everyone loving this family, and then they start having kids, and then they add in that Madeline Pryor, clone, like
Bro.
I tell you what, it would be another Endgame type of saga. People would be, it would be, and then end it with, the Phoenix Force. Oh my gosh,
Come
that'd
on,
be awesome, man.
that'd be great.
And then get Scarlet Witch in there somewhere and have her say no more mutants because I need it in the
Are
freaking
we?
MCU, man. It would be so awesome.
It's like they kind of
Oh,
did
it'd be
that
so
saga
cool.
with Wonder Vision, and Wonder Vision
I
was good, but you're right. It's just not.
I know.
It's just not X Men.
I
Like
want her to say
not
it and
X-Men.
just have it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Maybe we get it in Secret Wars. How cool would that be? Some, no more heroes
Dude,
or not Secret Wars, Doomsday even too. Like,
don't even
I
get me
tell you what,
fucking
there's a lot of,
started about
I'm
Secret
telling
Wars.
you,
All right, there's so much they could do with all these like pulling all these
so
actors from other
much.
projects or like what if
And then end the
scenarios and
multiverse
God,
right there, please, for a while. And then end the multiverse there for a while and just
yeah,
let us get another story. I hope it is not even a hard reset, but a reset into that,
yeah.
just one timeline. And yeah.
So
And then
I'm
I hope
gonna,
we get all our new actors
I'm
for
gonna, yeah.
mutants.
We need all new actors.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm really hoping for with Doomsday, like obviously it's going to introduce X-Men. Sorry if you don't want that to be spoiled, but they released a cast list.
They will. Yeah.
We did a video on this like the day after, which is why, by the way, I have that OM Jesus printed on my thing
Yeah.
there. It's because they had like the names on the back of all the chairs, and when we were doing that episode,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like turning around, putting it on my back. But then I just
No,
taped
yeah.
it up on my
That's
wall.
awesome.
Um,
That's awesome. Love that.
but there's so
Love that.
many of the previous X-Men, like Fox X-Men actors in this movie. So obviously the X-Men is coming in this Doomsday movie.
Yeah.
So obviously they're gonna get their send off, or I'm sure they'll all die, or whatever will fucking happen. Time reset, whatever.
Hopefully.
I'm with you though.
I don't want them to die. I love those characters, but I hope. Yeah.
They will have their end, I'm sure. And then I really just want, like you said, just new people, brand new slate, start
Yep.
over, fucking retcon what you have to retcon, and get X-Men moving forward in the MCU.
Yeah. 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. And I hope, like even what they're kind of doing with the Fantastic Four, well, I don't even know what they're doing, but like I hope they get brought in and they kind of meet all of the Avengers now, the Fantastic Four and maybe some of the Fox X-Men and just kind of get a relationship because I mean, Reed Richards, he does do that, multiversal, different, variants, all that type of stuff. Get them just introduced, and then I would love it if they do go back to the 60s or 70s, wherever they're placing this movie, and then we get 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s run of the X-Men. You know what I mean? And it could even be one of those, it looks like the 70s, but it's just a little bit more futuristic. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like they're driving around cars that are, hovering around instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And robots everywhere helping people out. That's what I want. Because then it brings in
Well, you need
oh my gosh, I can't.
the Sentinels.
Sentinels. I was gonna say
Yeah.
sentries. I got Thunderbolts on my mind.
Hey,
right
I'm here.
now because
I haven't seen Thunderbolts
yeah.
yet, by the way. Is it good?
Ooh,
Watch it?
brother. Yes, please.
Fuck yeah.
They need the box office to go.
Yeah.
Like it gave me hope. It really did. Like I gave Captain America: Brave New World a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I gave Thunderbolts a solid. I would give it an 8.2. 8.25, but I've been just saying between 8 and an 8.5. Like that's
Okay.
It is probably
Well,
top
let's
15
just say,
at least.
the way that we score things here at Neon Pocket Dimension is
Yeah.
a solid 1 to 5 point score, or
Okay.
1 to 5 with 0.5. So where would you put it there if you had to
I
rank
would put
it?
a 4.5. Honestly, I would do a 4.5 then. Yeah.
That's
yep.
great.
Just because it
That's
is.
great.
Yeah. And I feel like between that 8 and 9.5 area is like, hey, this is great. Like and then there's that masterpiece right at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Can't
but
wait.
like,
Can't wait.
yeah, it's very good, man. I
Maybe
was
when-
pleasantly surprised.
Maybe when Joy comes home, which by the way, when you watch this, Joy's already home, but I'm home alone right now. It's is it Memorial Day? Memorial Day
Yeah,
weekend.
Memorial Day
I
weekend.
get
Yep.
Monday off. I'm home alone all through fucking Thursday. She's coming home Thursday. So I'm gonna be a degenerate at home playing lots of video games, getting drunk. It's gonna be a lot.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we could
Hey,
squat up.
W.
We're gonna squat up.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%. 100%. Oh
but
yeah. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
game for that.
I'm thinking maybe when she comes back, I'll book us some movie tickets and maybe Friday night we can go fucking see
So
Thunderbolts
I was a
finally.
bad
That'll be
husband.
tight. It'll be tight.
I was a I was a bad husband, and I went without my wife to go
Oh
see Thunderbolts.
no!
But she did kind of tell me that she wasn't 100% feeling it. She's where a lot of Marvel fans have been. Just kind of
That's where
like,
I am now. Yeah, I haven't seen
yeah.
like the last
And
few in theaters.
and that's how I was, but my community was getting after me because they wanted to talk about it with me,
This is what
and I
happens.
finally went by myself, and it blew my socks off. I'll
Fuck
tell
yeah!
you what, it was awesome. It was
Great to hear it.
awesome.
So obviously this does cut into the MCU. So let's not forget that MCU X-Men are coming, and when it happens, it's gonna be great. Remember that shit.
Hopefully,
Let's get back to the X-Men. Talk a little bit more about them. I wanted to get into Magneto because you said he's your
yeah.
favorite. So let's hear like everything you have to say about Magneto that you can put out in the
Oh
for like
man,
10 minutes. 10 minutes of
I
Magneto talk.
mean, like,
How do you feel
dude.
about that?
So Eric Magneto, like he has such an inch. I'm sorry if you hear my dog barking. Let me know if you can.
Don't worry about it.
But he has such a cool backstory. The whole Holocaust story. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
said, seeing X-Men 1 and the opening to that movie of the kid reaching out and just all of a sudden this metal gate starts bending. Like, I got chills as a child, like being in that theater and being like, oh my gosh, this is the, fighting for his family. Yeah, look at that. Like,
yeah.
that is what made me love Magneto right away. I didn't really like him in the animated series. I was very much a Gambit, Nightcrawler, Wolverine kind of guy. You know what I mean? Which a lot of kids are. Those are
Yeah,
their favorites. But
big time.
Magneto, man, like, even like his intellect and the way he talks with Charles, and how Charles is still probably his best friend,
Yeah,
but he's constantly at war with his best friend. But they both want the same fucking thing,
it's true.
but he's such a broken character, and wants, and I can't even say that he's like the character that like is throwing a fit and he wants his way and he wants it the way he wants it. It's more like he wants his people to be okay, and he'll do anything he
Right.
fucking can to make sure all mutants can live a normal life.
If I could,
His normal life. Yeah, go ahead.
if I could compare like his temperament and like the way he approaches this X-Men or this mutant issue in the world, he's very much like Shar Aznable from Mobile Suit Gundam and that series.
Oh yeah.
100% like same type of guy. Like he wants justice for space noids. Space
Yeah.
noids are people who are born in space and live in space stations and don't live on the Earth. And Earth is trying
I
to
watch more
control their
Gundam.
lives, right? And so they want
Yeah.
independence from Earth, but like Earth's like, fuck you, no. And so Shar is fighting on the side for like, just let us have our independence. But obviously it creates a war, and that's why you have big
Yeah.
robots fighting each other. But it's very similar. It's like he has this noble pursuit, but he's willing to do like things that are not noble at all to achieve that.
No, for his
Um,
people, and I
yeah,
feel like he's very much like he'll sacrifice his look to everyone
yeah,
to just make good for his people. You know what I mean? He is that. And oh, what was I saying? Um no,
oh,
and like his power level too, him being an omega level mutant,
yeah,
like
oh
I
yeah,
mean, like it's so cool. So cool, man. And his dynamic with Charles too is like another
it's the
reason
best.
why he's awesome, man. Like Charles is always he's the Captain America. If you want to like honestly look at it as an Avengers standpoint,
Right.
Professor X is that Captain America that is like, hey, we're going to do the right thing and we're always going to protect everyone no matter
Yeah.
what. And
True.
Magneto is kind of that Iron Man dude. He's like,
Right.
hey, if they're knocking on our front doorstep and they want to bring a war to us, I'll bring it to them first. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and that's why I love Magneto. He's got that swag.
He's got
He's
that swagger.
Charles. You know what I mean? Like he's just like, come
Dude,
on, man.
it's just like the picture. Like, I think that any Marvel fan, any true Marvel fan, like comics and otherwise, is a fan of X-Men as much as like all the rest of the shit. And I think that thinking of the image of Charles Xavier and fucking Eric Magneto sitting there playing chess in New York or something,
Yeah.
in like
Yep.
Central Park is just like something
Yeah.
we can all picture, and we're just like, there's so much more going on.
So
like,
cool.
So much
Yeah.
more going
Yeah.
on. It's not just chess. These motherfuckers are like, it's a battle of wits, of ideologies, of philosophy. It's like incredible.
And what's so awesome too, though, is like, yeah, Eric will sit down and play chess against, Charles and not wear his helmet. He looks at Charles as, his brother, his equal that will not do him wrong. And Charles won't do that to anyone,
Yeah.
So it's like, it's such a respect level between them, but it's so like,
The honor.
Magneto's like, listen, Charles, like, I will, not put you down, but I will make sure you cannot interfere with anything I'm doing because this is what we've always wanted. Like, when first class, when they built the school together, which I don't even think that's how the whole thing went down in X-Men canon, but it was kind of a cool twist,
Oh, movie canon,
like,
I guess. But
yeah,
whatever.
movie canon. But I like that's so awesome. They built the school together, but Magneto's like, hi, Charles, you're pretty much making all the choices, and I can't deal with it, so I'm building the Brotherhood of Mutants. Which Brotherhood of Mutants doesn't sound too bad. You know what I mean? It's not
Bros?
a villainous group.
Mutant bros?
You know what I mean? It's the Brotherhood of Mutants. It's very welcoming to all mutants. You know what I'm saying?
True. But I mean, like,
and
if you look at like extremist groups, like in the real world, they all have names like
yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
yeah,
always
so
veiled,
true. Yeah.
as like, oh, it's this welcoming thing, but it's really like violent and crazy, and like they're
100%.
trying to kill people, and that's not good. But like at the same time, you understand the allure of like, if I was a mutant and I felt shunned from society, it's the same thing like from the Ninja Turtles live action movie, the first one.
Yeah.
Where the Foot Clan was like, oh, all you punk kids who ran away from home because your parents didn't understand you, like, come be with us. We'll teach you how to be a ninja. And it's like, but they're actually bad. But then it's like,
bad people,
I understand why you would get pulled into that world in this tough situation.
I do think Magneto still won't draw that line against mutants. Humans, he'll be like, yeah,
he didn't
brother,
give a fuck
like
about humans.
he doesn't give a fuck. But Professor X, he's like, which I do think Eric Magneto, he does care about all life, all humans, but if you stand in his way as a human, he will not hesitate. And that's where the terrorists, and that's why people, call him a villain. I'm sorry, I will always see him as just a hero because like,
well, I mean, an anti-hero at the very least, right?
Yeah, anti-hero,
just as much as like Venom. Venom can do good things, but still like a fucking scary alien will eat you,
wild
literally
monster,
eat you.
Yeah, right. It would drag his tongue all over your face and
big time.
Wild.
Okay, so here's the part where I'm just gonna open the floor to you. I like to ask the question. I'll give you in advance the last couple main questions. It's what don't you like about the topic, and what's the most complicated thing about the topic. So if you feel like you have answers to that, throw those out, and then I'm just gonna open up the floor to you, just kind of like gush about what you want to gush about for X-Men, and then we'll call it a day here. So
yeah, you got it. Honestly, I would say the thing that I don't like about X-Men, and well, I should say a lot of stories, is kind of that Professor X Magneto like split. You know what I'm saying? Like I would rather see all the mutants team up together and fight the bad thing. A lot of stories are always like, oh, it's the good and the bad mutants fighting against this outlier. You know what I mean? And
Right.
like I feel like we kind of saw it in X2 where they teamed up, you know, and took down Stryker. I want more stories like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Where the dark guys and the good guys are getting that feel together and that, you know, the talking and the relationship together, so we can get those Wolverine and Sabretooth interactions actually and
Right.
see, you know what I mean, without
The
jumping to a
animosity.
flashback. And yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
You
it.
know, that's what I would say I don't like.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and them not fully diving into those like hard topics of the world. Yeah, they do it, but I want them to just
Like
get
right in
like
your face.
straight into it. Yeah, right in your face. I mean, I feel like that's what this world needs when it comes to comic books. I know not a whole lot of people would love it, you know, and I should say comic book movies, but
Yeah.
like,
I would
you
argue.
know,
I would argue that
if they do it right, go ahead.
I would argue the comic books themselves are better at doing that than these films.
Yes.
But then obviously, like
Yeah.
what you're saying, like these are movies that they're trying to just make a bunch of money. So like, why alienate some of the people who may want to watch it, right? But then that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to if you're trying to send a message, like just go all in. Like fuck it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what
I'm
I
with
want. You know, and like I'm sorry when comic book movies and all that were kind of, well, I should say the golden age of comic book movies, you know, back 2008 to, you know, Endgame pretty much. Like they weren't like they weren't scared to alienate anybody. You know what I mean? They were just making a comic book movie touching on these, you know what I'm saying? Except for Iron Man, they never did the demons in the bottle, really, you know what I'm saying, type of storyline, which I want to see that one day. I hope, you know, when Iron Man eventually 20, 30 years from now gets rebooted, I hope they do that kind of storyline. But yeah, that's what I want to see.
Nice.
100%.
What do you think is the most complicated thing to understand about the X-Men?
Pretty much like the same thing I was talking about, and that's why I want them to just kind of lean into it more. Are those like segregation stories and like the diversity and the being, you know, pushed down by the government just because you're different, or you know what I mean, or by the mass in general, you know what I'm saying? And I think that is kind of the hardest thing for people to understand about X-Men, because it's kind of a taboo thing still, you know, to even talk about it or see it. And you know what I mean? It's very like taboo still. And my wife didn't get it until I literally like pointed it out to her, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you're so right." Like that. These movies are amazing. She's an Iron Man stan, will always be an Iron Man stan, but her second favorite is just X-Men in general. Like you know, after she heard that, she's like, wow, you know, all these people that are looked at so differently, like, you know, it's an amazing story. Yeah. Yeah. So I would say that's the hardest for people to kind of grasp, even though I know people aren't stupid, they could grasp it, but that's also why I want it to kind of just get more in your face with it, you know.
Hell yeah. I would say the most complicated thing from like the comic standpoint, and I haven't read a lot of them, I just like do research on shit all the time, is just the crazy amount of timelines that there are.
So many.
It's so like many. Someone made, I think, an infographic that showed like all the timelines and how they branch off, and it's like, well, Dark Phoenix happened, but then they split it off into this timeline, and then Kitty Pryde was able to go change the past, and that created this world, and then that's why Apocalypse showed up, and then this and that.
So
it's
true.
Like
that's another one.
Crazy as fuck. Like
that's another one. That's an actual. That's an actual like. Oof, that's hard to understand.
That's really hard.
Then they brought in what's her name from First Class? The one that Moira McTaggart. Okay, that's her mutant. like Jean is like when she dies, she gets kind of rebirthed, but like
Okay.
has a lot of her the same memories, I believe.
Ooh, interesting.
Like after she comes back, and I think she has nine, yeah, ninth life. Yeah. I think she has nine
Wow.
lives. I think it's like a nine lives type of power. But then she comes back and she kind of knows everything she learned from her past life. And I think that's how they wrote
Interesting.
in the different, storylines. And that's how, Apocalypse killed all of us while she died, went back and started a new timeline and ended up warning Charles, or kind of started stopping this time. Yeah, so that's very, oh my gosh, could you imagine the MCU trying to introduce that and being like, oh, new timeline reset after
That's what
20
I'm saying.
years, we're starting with Moira.
Yeah,
And that's where we're picking up again,
we're
which
in.
honestly not a bad idea if the fans can grasp their minds around it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean it's a reboot.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
We're about to do that with X-Men
I
in
love
general.
them.
So,
Gotta love them reboots. I'm ready for it.
so,
I am so ready.
so ready. Okay, so this is where I'm just gonna say, hey, if there's some things we didn't talk about that you want to throw out there, this is the time to make that happen. So, what X-Men things would you like to talk about before we get out of here?
Honestly, like I was thinking we could talk about, and I don't know if you want to make this a whole nother, episode later on in the future, because I got like three different topics I would love to hit with you. Which,
Yeah, yeah.
what storylines would you love to see the MCU adapt? In that, X-Men storylines, like, do you want them to get right into the Dark Phoenix? Do you want them to kind of do Apocalypse first? Or do you just want to see a Brotherhood of Mutants versus the X-Men type of, thing first? Another one
Yeah.
is castings. Like,
Right.
what kind of castings do you want to see? Because I know there's a whole lot of race swapping,
There could
kind
be.
of being thrown out there for the X-Men. And, I'm kind of here for it, whatever,
It's
because
fine.
that's kind of the story of the X-Men. I'm sorry
Right.
to tell you. Like,
It is.
what I'm saying? That's why I'm kind of okay with it, like make Professor X Asian and make, Magneto Latino dude. Like
Whoa.
it'd be, what I'm saying? Like, let's get, hey, Pedro, if you weren't already, no, I'm just kidding.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, but for real, like, you know what I mean? That's another one I would love to hit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then maybe like main characters for storylines. Who's gonna be your young, like your Jubilee or your Sunspot in '97 type of character, where
Right.
it's gonna connect the youngins to the older class? And do you want the, that first class to be young 20s in the movies, or would you like that first class to be,
Like teenager.
in their 30s, and they're teaching the kids, type of
Oh
thing?
yeah.
Or straight up teenagers, make them
Okay.
16 to 20. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'll do. Obviously, we can sit here and do more podcasts in the future, and these are actually really good pitches. And I can see us doing in a different form as these types of conversations, like
Yeah.
which would be a lot of fun. And we could even do like a tier list in the future. Who knows? We could
Right
have a
on,
good time with
dude.
that.
Yeah. I'm
I
game
think
for whatever X-Men you
I
throw
feel
at
like
me.
based off what you were just talking about, I think I have a good way for us to end this episode, and I think
Right
that's with
on.
predictions.
Ooh, love it.
So MCU X-Men is coming. Doom, the dark or what? Or that's different.
Doomsday.
Doom, the Dark Ages is a
Yeah.
video game I'm playing. I'm really into.
Mine.
The Doctor Doom Avengers film, whatever the fuck it's called. That just got pushed back to like December
Yeah.
next year, and then the next one to December 2027, I believe.
27. Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
we know we're gonna get X-Men at least even in the first one of these this two-parter Avengers film. So we know what's coming. So
Yeah.
within the vein of what you were just saying, what is your prediction with how it'll be like presented in general?
So I honestly,
How do you
what
think they're
I
going to
think
approach
is
this?
gonna, what I think is gonna happen is, I have kind of two theories, but one you would have to see Thunderbolts, and I don't want to give spoilers away for you.
Okay.
But my one theory is I think Doom by the end of like the Fantastic Four movie, we're gonna see Doctor Doom kind of figure out, being able to travel to different variant
Mhm.
worlds, different dimensions and kind of thing because
Mhm.
he saw Reed working on it and he, took the
Mhm.
idea, kind of that thing. And I think he's just going to be bouncing around to different verses, kind of just plucking, kind of what they did with Deadpool, not really putting too much thought into it, but just kind of picking them Fox X-Men out here and there and that type of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think having those Fox X-Men introduced into the movie is going to be real smooth the way they do it. I think it's really just going to be
They're
they're
here.
kind of here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree
I
with that.
think that's how it's going to be. But I really hope I can pray that maybe we get instead Doom going around.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Hello, grabbing
Uh-oh.
some.
What happened? Did I leave?
Oh, I'm not sure. Am I still here?
Yeah, you are.
I am here. Okay, cool, 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 cool.
Whoa. Hold on. I just edit that out. Give
Oh,
me a
you're
sec.
good. W. We're back.
You were about to say something.
Oh gosh. I hope Doom actually just does. I hope we get some new X-Men, maybe a younger Charles and a younger Magneto,
Mhm.
and then all the other, and then he could, interact with their older Magneto, older Charles, Ian McKellen, and Patrick Stewart
Mhm.
would be awesome. And then that's how they just surprise us and are like, "Hey, these are our new Professor X and Magneto."
Mhm.
Maybe just a couple new characters sprinkled on in there that he brought in from the different multiverses. You know what I'm saying? And then when it gets reset, have those new ones survive the aftermath,
Okay.
and they're in the new canon verse. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's my hope. I hope some new variants or new, actors playing, let's say, not Gambit or maybe Rogue, Jean, or
Mhm.
Cyclops. But I really hope, I think it could really work if you just pull in Professor X and Magneto from maybe two different timelines or the same timeline when they first met and say, hey, you're going to help me out. And then they figure out, oh, Doom, you're a bad guy, and then they're going to start teaming up with the Avengers and, all that. And then they create their new timeline and bam, it makes sense why Magneto and Professor X, kind of grew up in the Holocaust era, but are in 2025.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 2025 or the
Okay.
60s, but it's still 2025. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I hope. That's what I would kind of try cook up. So you kind of
Nice.
get touchstones that they saw Doom at one point.
Mhm.
They saw, the Fantastic Four at one point, blah blah blah. And then they kind of get separated maybe into different time slots in that new timeline, but then we still know those new actors, a way to introduce them. Because I
Nice.
always loved the way they introduced those characters, like Spider-Man in Civil War. That was an awesome
Yeah.
way to introduce them. You
Great.
know what I mean? Like that type of
He's
feel.
like, "Hi, I'm
A quick,
Spider-Man." Yeah.
yeah, an hour or so in a 3 hour Avengers movie, have them peppered in there here and there, just kind of learn about them. And then 2 years down the line, do a story about Professor X and Magneto, right before they get pulled out of their timeline. And you kind of get the
Mm.
groundwork, of their relationship, maybe. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it'll
That's what I would
be
say. I would love that.
I think what's going to happen if I was to predict how the X-Men come to the MCU, and that's me not seeing Thunderbolts, is I think somehow because of what Doom does, the old X-Men that we know from the Fox movies will show up. They'll have to like fight and stuff for some reason
Yep.
they'll have to be destroyed or they'll die during stuff or whatever. Like essentially they'll all have like a big send off, and then
Yeah.
due to the events of like Secret Wars, once that's over, it'll essentially reboot the entire MCU, where every canon is sort of like fused into one main universe, and so you'll have X-Men, Fantastic Four, like everyone will be there, but they'll be
In
like
the Spideyverse and yeah.
but it'll
Yeah.
be like started over essentially, where you'll have like, you know, the teen X-Men being taught by the older X-Men that are from the original
Yeah.
team, and then, you know, and then a Xavier who's not Patrick Stewart, and a you know, not an Ian McKellen
Some
Magneto.
peppered in there, here and there, like some newer actors, some of the older actors here and there. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like those
Just
those
after
will
that,
be
you're saying
gone.
fresh.
Fully, like
Okay, yeah,
they'll have
okay.
their send off, and it'll be like people will cry over it, like in the theater.
Yeah.
and it'll be
Oh, yeah.
awesome. And then once everything's rebooted after Secret Wars ends, because of all the craziness that Secret Wars brings, then we'll have like a fully fused Marvel MCU to kind of like push forward with like some actors that were from the MCU before, but not the Fox X-Men actors. Like they just
Fox,
won't
okay,
be
you're
a
saying
part of
complete-
it anymore.
okay.
Yeah, that's what
I
I
get that.
think will happen. As a prediction.
I think it would be really cool if all those Fox X-Men were on Doom's side. Like he somehow like tricks him, like, hey, be on my side, and then we get all the Avengers that have been set up, you know, coming on in and having to just square off with the X-Men. And then
Bro.
the X-Men find out Doom is bad. We'll sacrifice our timeline so y'all can continue yours, and that will be the solid new timeline. That would be awesome.
That's hot. I like the sound of that.
That would be. Hey, you came up with it first.
We did it.
You ooped it, and I dunked it home for you. There we go.
That's right. Fuck yeah, dude.
Good
times, man. That's awesome.
Love it.
Also, Sir Darthdubie, I want to give you a chance to promote yourself. What would you like to tell the people, man?
You can find me over on Twitch at Darthdubie. I go live 4 to 5 times a week at least. And then you could also find me over on YouTube. Darthdubie, the other Darthdubie out there that has my YouTube handle. Give it to me, please, because you're not posting anything.
What a loser.
Like, come on. But mine over on YouTube is Darthdubie 5. So Twitch, it's just Darthdubie, and then over on YouTube, it's Darthdubie 5. So
there you go.
That is where you can find some fun clips, some fun solo gameplay that I'm gonna start playing off stream and just kind of posting some full-on playthroughs and some shorts and stuff like that. So
good shit.
That's where you can find me.
Are you on like Twitter and Blue Sky and all that shit, or what?
Yep. You know what? I believe, Twitter you can find me, or Instagram you can find me at Darthdubie_, because I don't know who has my Darthdubie handle on Instagram as well. Yeah, it's wild. And then honestly, I'm not very active on Twitter, but let me tell you what, I know it's not just regular Darthdubie as well. It's Doobie Darth on Twitter, because someone has my Darthdubie handle.
It's tough out there.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. So it's all different. I'm thinking about just changing the handle altogether, because some people think I'm just a massive pothead, but it's just a play on my first and last name.
Hey, if you ever want to,
I like to toke. I do like to toke, but that's not the reason though.
You ever want to toke up, fire up Discord with me, bro? I'll fucking take a toke with you any day of the week.
I'm game, brother. I am game for sure.
I'm from Las Vegas. I can buy it at any of the many distiller.
Same here in the Mitten, baby. Same here in the Mitten. You gotta
dispensaries.
Love that, right?
Yeah, it's an incredible.
Dispensaries. There we go.
I was gonna say distillery. Jesus. Thank you so much for fucking being here, talking about
absolutely,
X-Men.
brother. Thank you.
Nerd the fuck out.
I loved it.
We'll do some more X-Men content together. Maybe do a part 2 of this. Maybe do more informal, like just looking at characters and ranking them or whatever. You know, whatever it is. But I want to thank you for watching, viewer. You are here in Neon Pocket Dimension. You're home for all nerdy shit that's not gaming. You can also find our gaming stuff in Neon Gaming Dimension and all other comedy stuff. My drinking podcast, Odd Valley Tavern, if you check out on YouTube at Odd Valley Studios. Again, thank you, Darthdubie, for being here on a Saturday.
Thank you.
It was a great time, dude, and you got one last thing to say to the people. Say it.
Hey, I love nerding the fuck out with y'all. I loved it. Thank you so much for having me again, Jacob.
yeah.
Loved it, man. And I'll nerd out with you on any other topic any day, brother. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much.
Fuck yeah, man. And to you, good night. See you later. And, read some X-Men comics or watch an X-Men movie, all right? Just for us. We'll see you next time.
Watch the movies. They're fun still. They're still fun.
They're great. Just not Wolverine Origins. All right. But
yeah, true. Yeah, you're right.
bye.
W.